Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to Project Mosquito!
In this episode we're going to be to remove the engine to weld in the firewall.
It looks like a car and it feels car-shaped.
You cut out.
I'm not sure it's going to work.
I am. Have faith, Father.
Over the last 8 episodes or so, we've been working towards painting the chassis, haven't we?
Yeah, we've finished welding the front now, and we just need to weld in the back panel of the firewall.
Bonnet hinges are in.
Bonnet hinges are in.
We have our rough geometry for drawing out our door hinges, which we haven't given up on those, but we just need to go to the shop and get the stuff, but the shop's been shut. So we haven't had a chance to do that, but we've got kind of everything, all the measurements that we need to do that.
All the geometry set.
So now we're going to take the engine out, strip the chassis down so that we can weld in our bulkhead frame, and we might even do our inner engine bay.
Yes, and if we've time, do our brake lines.
Before we paint the chassis, we can also weld on the sills, which means that the chassis will pretty much be finished.
Yeah.
Dad's actually going to put the front suspension back on, are you?
Yeah. Then we can put the wheels back on. It makes it a lot easier to move around the workshop.
It also makes it easy to get the engine out because we can unbolt the engine, put the engine on a pallet, and then lift the car off and then wheel it forward.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see why not. Bring this over here and then I can put my bolts back on so we don't lose stuff. That worked.
The thing is, it might seem a bit odd to keep going, you know, stripping it down, building it back up, stripping it down, but basically there's so many things going on at the same time that it would be very easy to miss a step and get it all together and suddenly think, oh well, we need to do this or we need to drill another hole for that. And the whole idea of this car is when we build it, it's going to last an awful long time.
It also doesn't look very good on a thumbnail if we just build a load of parts, put them all upstairs on shelves, and you guys never get to see it all as a car. By the time we finish this car, we'll be able to take the entire thing apart and put it back together in about 12 minutes.
Yeah, no, we're also trying an experiment. We're uploading 2 videos a week just to see if we can get a little bit more coverage and give people exactly what they want, because
some people ask for shorter videos, some people ask for longer videos. So if we give you 2 short videos, you get the same amount of length in your week, but the short video people are happy as well. And we're hoping that, sorry, did I talk over you?
Oh, you're all right.
And we're hoping that because there's 2 videos rather than 1, there's twice the opportunity for new viewers to find these videos. I love how in a video where we start off by saying we're going to take the entire car apart in this week's episode, then we spend the first 5 minutes putting it all back together again. Yeah, I need to polish up these centre caps. Why is it wet?
I was filling up a watering can this morning and it blew the hose pipe out of the can.
Now then, do we take these corners off now, or do we just leave it for now?
Oh, I'll leave it for now.
Yeah?
Yeah, that can be a final build thing where we get everything.
Yeah. They're driving me nuts. We just left it slightly blocky, didn't we? And it's not quite as... what's the word I'm looking for? Elegant. As other parts of the car.
Yeah, but we can also use that to make it a bit lighter.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I hope that we're underweight.
I'll be surprised if we are.
I will as well.
I'd like it to be, but because we're making it into a road car and not just an out-and-out racing car. It's going to have creature comforts, and unfortunately, creature comforts tend to weigh. Mm-hmm. You know, sound deadening and things like that.
Well, that's it. I hope it's underweight. Then we can add more sound deadening and more. You know.
Yeah.
But if you want to think about how much weight creature comforts adds, an original Mini, the early classic Minis. The Mark 1s are 650 kilos, whereas my mum's sports pack was 750.
Yeah.
So there's 100 kilos.
Yeah, in leather seats and...
Leather seats, walnut dashboard, wind down windows.
Yeah.
Extra fuel. Did the sports packs have the extra fuel tank?
No.
No. So it doesn't even have an extra fuel tank, it's 100 kilos heavier.
No, the Mini Coopers did, they had the one at either side.
Yeah.
But,
that just shows you though how much weight like simple comforts can add. Okay, we've said this before, but cows are heavy. I can't find that blue pallet. Luckily there's this really lightweight one in the shed. And what I'm thinking is, we chop it in half.
yeah.
Get the saw and just chop down there.
Yeah.
We'll end up with something that won't,
more engine size.
won't completely take over the workshop. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh. The reason for the Carolina squat at the minute, which by the way is a silly, silly thing, is it was just to stop the springs rattling. We need to get shorter springs eventually.
Yeah, we just pick the front end up then. And it's getting pretty heavy now with the front end, which just goes to show our weight distribution is going to be pretty much spot on.
Yeah, we want it slightly rearward because that'll keep it predictable, stop it spinning like a top. You don't want perfect weight distribution. In fact, even front engine Ferraris have a rearward weight distribution, as does the Lotus Elan.
Yeah.
Which if you ask people like Gordon Murray, they'll tell you that the Lotus Elan is the greatest handling sports car ever made. Having not driven one myself, I can't attest to that. But if somebody has an Elan that they'd like me to drive, then I'd like to put it to, I'd like the opportunity to test it. It's been a while since I've reviewed a car. I'll tell you what, reviewing cars is a lot easier than building cars. Not yet. Okay. Check floor's clear. Yep, it's all clear. speaking of weight, we are kind of on, what would you say, on schedule? On
task. I don't know. What's the word?
target.
Target, yeah.
We're on target for being lighter than an original factory GTM, which is good. Our chassis is lighter, quite considerably lighter. The front suspension, I think, is 1 kilo lighter. The rear suspension is exactly the same weight to within like 100 grams, if I remember rightly. The steering is slightly heavier, obviously, because we've added the little extendy shaft, because the steering rack's now kind of 1/2 metre in front of where it used to be, and upside down. And as far as the engine's concerned, it's very difficult to work out because a mini engine is listed as a short block weight.
Yeah, and it's all cast iron.
Right, yeah. But a mini short block, which is, if you don't know what a short block is, that's without manifold, so no intake, no exhaust, no alternator, no nothing, just the basic engine, none of your ancillaries. Hello Bentley, you coming to help? And the weight of a mini short block is listed as 150 kilos. Now, my K-Series weight, I've used a weight from an American magazine, but that lists the K-Series as, I think 405 pounds or something like that it is, but it translates to 187 kilos. I remember the metric weight, but that's with power steering pump, drive shafts, the factory intake manifold, which is a lot bigger than this,
yeah,
and the factory exhaust manifold. So we don't have a power steering pump, obviously, and we've got a very different intake manifold and all sorts. So we don't actually know how much this engine does weigh. It's quite possible that it will weigh the same as a mini engine once both are dressed, which is quite amazing considering a 1275 makes about 75 horsepower, and this will make, well, it did a mini, didn't it? 75 horsepower.
Yeah.
Whereas this, as it stands, will probably make 250. From what I've read, K-Series engines tend to make more power in Europe than they do in America. And I think that's down to fuel.
Yeah, better fuel, don't I?
Europe. What you doing?
Well, these bottom mounts are so much better. Since I welded the captive nuts on.
I think I need an adapter. Is it an adapter? I can't colour you, I'm trying to do work, Bentley. There we go. Comes out like that. I should say that this suspension is CRV derived, shouldn't we? Because it's no longer stock in any way, really. All the bushes are stock, which we'll have to sort that out at some point. But it's far lighter, it uses different rear brakes, it has a different shock absorber mount, all sorts.
Yeah, the hubs are massively modified.
Yeah, that's a good point. One of the most expensive parts on this entire car is the rear hubs, because the rear hubs are drag racing hubs from America. And they allow us to use the EP3, which is the early 2000s, like 2003 Type R drive shafts, with a 4x100 bolt pattern, because drag races in America like to run the little brakes, and so that we're using front hubs from an American drag racing Civic on the back on CRV suspension. Have we got a flathead screwdriver there?
I haven't. I'll get you one.
Right, I'll get it. Oh, it's here. But these hubs are made of chrome molybdenum and have ARP studs, which are way too long. And so, because obviously they're for big drag slicks. And so they were very, very, very expensive. In fact, you worked it out the other day, and we spent more on hubs than we have on steel.
Yeah, so far.
Which just tells you like how expensive they are, and that's because American drag racers like to run the little brakes with the big shafts. And the reason why we chose to run the big shafts is because it used to be a thing on rally cars back in the day, Porsche 911s and stuff like that, on tarmac, didn't it?
Yeah.
And when they had one wheel on grass and then one wheel on tarmac, they used to snap drive shafts.
In fact, a lot of solid axle cars did. Escorts did. If you like spun out onto the grass on it, even on the circuit, and you're driving in anger and your foot starts to flow, when you get back, if you're on slicks and you get back onto warm sticky tarmac, it's quite easy. It snaps
all your half shafts.
It snaps all the shafts.
And so we some things are worth the wait, and I think the drive shafts are definitely that. Because with it, you get bigger CV joints, you get beefier everything. Oh no, are you stuck inside and want to go out to play? There we go.
If we'd have been making the car as a competition car, we would have made all the back bodywork, a lifting clamshell. So it would have been hinged at the top of the roll cage, and the whole back of the body would have hinged up.
Yeah, but I want my boot.
But we want a boot, and we don't want like a shut line that runs along the wheel arch to spoil the lines. It's all right on something like a 205 T16, which were built purely as a rally car.
Or a Stratos.
Or a Stratos. Oh, the Stratos don't hinge like that, does it?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah. A couple of people in the comments in last week's video were slightly concerned that in all of our adjustments and alterations of the body, it won't look like a GTM anymore, right? The thing is, it will, because I wanted a GTM to begin with, right? But what it will look like is an evolution of the GTM. You know, a Ginetta G12 looks like a Ginetta G4, but more. It'll be a bit like that, only not as extreme and not thick in the middle. It's an evolution of the GTM because there's no way to add all of that wheel arch to a GTM without changing some things. And a GTM from the factory is a little bit squashed because it takes its styling cues from much bigger cars. So we'll have to unsquash it. It won't be as drastic as a G12 is from a G4. But it'll look like, basically, if GTM had got a load of investment and a load of money back in the 60s, they decided to go to Targa Florio and Le Mans and compete on like a bigger scale, and they'd have made a bananas crazy racing car. This has to look like the Stradale version of that racing car. But it will look like a GTM. It just will look like a GTM that never existed. Which is kind of the point. But when it will look like family. It's a sister rather than a twin.
Lift up now, I think, anyway.
It will, but our engine's a bit
precarious.
Yeah. And I need to sneeze, of course I do.
Yeah, we slipped up there, didn't we?
Yeah.
How wobbly is it?
Very. No, that's kind of jammed in, but yeah.
Well, can we just put one on there and lift this up?
Oh yeah, but then what were we going to do with chassis, with engine? Because engine could fall back. Miriam, will you just come and put your hand on the engine? Okay. Right. So the way I think we'll line it up is to put this on for now. We drill it top and bottom, put one bolt in, and then hold this up against, and then mark it from the back.
Yeah, just to make sure it all lines up.
Yeah, then we can get it all lined up and all kind of correct.
That's it.
Sorry, we had to stop filming there for a minute so Maren could hold the engine. So actually, this end isn't so bad. I wouldn't want to carry it a long way one-handed, but it's not so bad. So I kept it. This is pretty much the last piece of the chassis that we've retained, and this is the original hatch that went in there in the original chassis.
I don't know, you still have that?
Yeah, it's the last little piece that we've retained. I forgot I had it till the other day.
What? 1.5, 1.5 mil.
So I said, in the previous episode, I said that the Firewall on a GTM was 1 mil. Turns out it's 1.5. So this will be lighter.
Yeah. And stronger.
Because of course, this is 0.5 mil thick steel, which is 1/3 of the weight of this. And this is 1 mil aluminium. So yeah, this is the replacement for this. Slightly better access as well. I forgot to say, Dad rebuilt the grinder and cleaned it all out inside. It was full of the horrible grinding dust from those rubbish grinding discs.
Yeah.
So cleaned it all up, it's working again, and we bought some new grinding discs that aren't utter garbage. This might seem like a load of unnecessary fiddling about to do something that no one's ever going to see. But it actually teaches us how to do the other side. What widths things need to be and stuff to fit in with the radius and with the aluminium and all that. And of course, the fitment of the panel that goes on top is super important because it's a panel that everyone's going to see every time you look through the windscreen, every time you get in the car. And so getting it just right is real important. And this is one of those jobs that if you did it all the time, you'd be able to do it in 2 minutes. You wouldn't even have to think about it. You just done. But because we've not ever done one like this before, it's and there's so many dimensions and it's not equal. Because obviously the boxes aren't in the same place and all that, so it's not even symmetrical. It's rather fiddly. Well, that were way more work than I thought it were going to be.
Yeah, well, it should be a relatively simple task to make a removable panel turn into a bit of a marathon.
That should be the tagline of the channel. That there's that internet joke in there. We did this not because we thought it would, not because it's easy, but because we thought it would be.
Yeah. They seem to have a lot of those.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you did it every day, if this were what you did,
yeah.
You'd do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah, because you just look at it and think, oh, well, that needs a trim there, that needs a trim there.
But because we've never done it before, and because you're sealing up to a radius, and anytime you seal up to a radius, there's always that little bit of wiggle room, isn't there? And it's a right pain. But it's nearly ready to weld in now, so that's great. We can weld it in at the beginning of next week's episode, and job's a good one. But we've run out of time for this one,
unfortunately.
So I'd like to thank you all for stopping by, and I want to say a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members.
Yes, thank you guys.
Your support means a lot to us. If you are interested in supporting the build of the car, if you're one of these people who's down in the comments be like, make more progress, support the channel, and then you can help us make progress, check that link out in the description, patreon.com/oliverpickard. But
it's another step closer.
Another step closer, definitely. So thank you all for watching. Please be awesome to each other.
Oh, don't forget, leave us a comment
Leave us a comment.
and a thumbs up.
And we'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.